All right, good morning. We are going to get started here. We know that a lot of people are going to show up throughout this process since this is a 6-week hackathon. I think a lot of people are going to find out about this after the fact today, probably, and start joining us. So we're recording this so we can share that and have that archived for them. So just quick introduction. I'm Carl McClendon with the Santa Fe Business Incubator here, and I am with one of our client companies. And I'm going to turn it over to Alex and let him introduce himself and his company.
Yeah, very good. So thank you for everyone for joining. My name is Alexander McKay. I'm the CEO of TARTLE. The majority of you know who I am. And we are also joined here with Dania Simmons. She's our Chief Technology Officer, the brainchild behind the design of the technology itself, making it so incredible and powerful for sourcing data from any corner of planet Earth. We wanted to start to open up these opportunities for, one, awareness for developers globally to find a better way to get some of the best data samples anywhere with a reduction in bias to training artificial intelligence or machine learning models, or maybe anything in a simpler format, but data needs to be collected from humans in an ethical format and in a format that is also permissioned and allows them to be a part of the process for training these future technologies. TARTLE is the only place to go do that. So as a whole, TARTLE is a two-sided marketplace between data sellers and data buyers. The data sellers have these secure data vaults, which allow them to populate all of these different types of data from APIs, third-party systems, self-reported information, securely store it. And then when the buy side of the marketplace says, hey, I'm looking to get these specific data elements from a specific person from anywhere in the world, they have the ability to target that individual, request that data at a specific price. And if that price meets the appropriate measures of what the data seller thinks is fair, that data gets permissioned across automatically with an audit trail, is decrypted and then accessed by the buyer side of the platform. TARTLE currently works in many different industries: financial services, healthcare, AI and machine learning, market research. And what we want to do is, outside of the B2B sense, we want to move to the world of developer access and tools for the TARTLE ecosystem so that they can begin to get creative with the technology itself beyond what TARTLE and our clients are thinking about, and really put that, that champion power of the TARTLE technology in their hands. So today, as a total, what we want to do is we want to see if we can have a pairing between what is public data sets, things from NOAA, National Organization of Atmospheric something. So we're going to connect into those public data sets. We're going to give you a couple of resources where you can do that. That's a no-cost thing. And then we are also going to bring in TARTLE data, which is going to be maybe weather data you're collecting from people, also some behavioral elements, and see if we can come up with some cool web apps or analyses using some of these models. Pair this data together to see if we can get some interesting insights. We know today that Google has come out with some new highly predictive models by blending all these different data sets together. But the one thing that a lot of these major data sets miss is hyperlocal information from people that are actually feeling the temperature living in those areas. So we think that there could be a major unlock on some really cool things created, pairing TARTLE data with public available data sets and see if we can find some really cool insights. So I know people are going to have great creativity with this. And what you'll find is that Dania Simmons and her team will be able to help with, some small questions, kind of get you guys off the ground, show you some running stuff, and then we'll have Matthew Smith come in, kind of walk you through what the system looks like, teach you a little bit about the filtering mechanics of TARTLE, what data packets are, target specific individuals, and begin to request that data. And as a reminder, this is 34 days from now, we'll be doing the judging, a series of judges. The process will go to those individuals who are at the top. If this is successful, we'll have this in the future. This is a very low stress event. I'm going to say it easy, and say that if we have a very cool technology that comes down to climate impact visualizations using TARTLE data and NOAA data, this is something we will also help market on our side with our Chief Marketing Officer, Jason Whitley, so we can help get your name out there with your work. This is a great way to build your profile. It is a great way to build your resume. So we're happy to have you guys here. What I'd like to do is pass off a little bit of the objectives and expectations over to Carl, so he can tell you what to expect from you and your teams. All right, so let me share
Yes, they're not seeing that.
No, no, I'm seeing it.
Right. So there we go. Let me tell them Google Meets now. All right. So a few housekeeping things. First of all, here is the DevPost platform that we'll be using, and of course you've all found it because you registered for it here. There are some resources under this tab that some of you have probably already looked at, some potential tools and technologies that you might want to use. Access to the NOAA climate data portal, data in there. I'm going to actually put in the new, as Alexander just referred to, Google just came out with GenCast. I will put in the access to their data on here as well, so you can use that if you would like. And then for the TARTLE API, which I'll let Daniel talk a little bit about here in a second. Those are all accessible in this shared Google Drive. So you should be able to have access to that drive and get the API documents and other information that you might need. Okay, so that's this platform. And of course, as you form your teams and you decide who you want to work with, if you're working on a team, not solo, you can use whatever platform you want to communicate back and forth. I don't care. But we do have a Slack channel that we've created, and that's also linked in here, so you have access to that if you need it. What else am I missing? Oh, the schedule itself for today. Again, like Alexander was saying, this is a very low stress, this is but I did create this schedule to help kind of keep you on the pathway for what we're going to do today. And so you can see we're going to try to get you actually going here pretty soon, and hopefully you can talk to each other and find out if you want to team. And so you can work on that this morning once we turn you loose. And then actually we will actually get to work around 11:45 our time. Like I was saying, use whatever channel you want, whatever platforms you want to work on, that's totally up to you. The plan is to work the rest of the day, morning/early afternoon, take a break for lunch, and then we'll come up again end of the day around 4:30 our time and see how you're doing, answer any more questions, and then cut you loose and let you keep working on this thing with the deadline, like I said, January 8th. Am I missing anything?
I didn't miss anything. I want to touch on one point before getting into the technical nature and the technical premise of TARTLE, its marketplace against technology as a whole. I want to talk about something that's a little bit more philosophical. We had started TARTLE back in 2017 with this idea that people should own their data. And at that time, many people thought that's, in some respects, a ridiculous notion, and that their data wasn't really worth anything to them. And what they found is that we have shown, proven over time, is that the hypothesis was incorrect. And we've seen the aggregate value of data increase from a tenth of a penny to companies willing to pay $500 a piece for a single data set. And that goes to an individual human being. And the important part here is that because there's a relationship that's being established between people and businesses with the data as the bridge using TARTLE's technology, this is not only good for business, but it's also uplifting for people that should have control of their data and also should be earning from it. So we will see that in the future. Now, we currently have 2 million people that use our system, across 200 plus countries. But what we continue to see is that TARTLE has this core infrastructure technology doing a lot of good and hopefully leading to a universal basic income for the people that do participate on TARTLE, as their data will become more automatically monetized for themselves, as they have more control over that process, more say in how their data is used and who it's going to. So at the most philosophical level, we wanted to make sure that consumers, the people who are creating that data, have the most amount of power and control in the process, because they're the ones who are rightful owners, so they should be the ones that choose where their data goes, who it goes to, and when it's actually going. And we can meet those people in the middle between business and consumer, and finally make the value of that data truly public and take it out of the black box that it's historically been in. This is going to do a lot of good for the world. And we saw really early days on TARTLE where people would come in and review the system, and we're just so incredibly thankful that just because they were using TARTLE, even in developing countries, they have the ability to feed their family for the next 2 weeks because of the earnings they have just in those early days on TARTLE itself. So we knew at those beginning times that has impact that we really had, and we wanted to continue that, extrapolate on it, and find more ways to deliver that benefit back to the public across the globe. So as you folks can hear, are doing this design, creating these new apps, not only is it for the benefit of the creation yourself and also new insights that you haven't seen before, beyond that, you're actually helping people that one, you're never going to have the opportunity to meet, but it's actually having an impact on their life. And as those people continue to earn, it continues to be more attractive for many others. And this becomes a de facto tool for everybody across the world to take control back for their data. And so I want to thank all of you for showing up here, making the effort to be a part of this, and understanding that by using a technology, it's actually not a zero-sum game. This is a win-win for everybody that is a participant. And so with that, keep it in mind, build some great things. And I want to pass the torch over to Dania so she can introduce herself and just give a little bit of an overview about the TARTLE technology and what makes it so unique.
Thanks, Alex. As Alex mentioned, I'm Dania Simmons. I'm the CTO at TARTLE. This TARTLE is a product of the people that have put time into it, and that includes some of the developers that you'll work with from our team today. It's also a platform that was born of an idea for changing the way data changes hands. I think we've all kind of heard about Google, Facebook, big tech stealing your data. TARTLE is a reaction to that. And we think we have a better way forward, and we've built a platform around that. So when you see things in TARTLE that maybe you're, maybe it's more difficult to get the data, you can't just download it. You have to actually purchase it from people. Just know that there's a reason behind that, and there's a philosophy behind the way that the data is segregated in TARTLE and the way that you access the data. And so that said, if Zoom lets me share here, I just want to get folks started with the platform. The first step will be to sign up as a buyer, to create your own buyer account. And what we'll do is we'll actually drop some funds in there, and you'll be able to actually take those funds and purchase real data from real people. You don't have a test environment. What you'll be using is actual data. And I see that the host has disabled participant screen sharing. You may have to enable.
Just turn it off for you right now, Dania.
Let me see. Okay, great. All right. I think you guys can see that, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, so very first step will be to go in, sign up as a buyer. Make sure you don't sign up as a seller, because you guys are going to be buyers today. When you do that, confirm your email and you'll land on this page.
Hold on, we're seeing your Slack.
Slack channel right now.
I'll share the. Okay, cool. You can see that.
Yes, we can.
Share the screen, not the window. Yeah, so basically you'll see this when you first land on the page. And this is going to tell you about the users and the data available in your country. So right now you can see it's Spain. Whatever your country is, this is what you'll see here. So the most important places for you to take a look at are going to be my bids. You'll see any open bids that you have here. You'll see how many have actually been sold. And then once the bids are closed after a period of time, you'll see them here. You can see I have some closed bids here. We can actually look at some of the data. We can look at like this one. So I'm going to walk through a little bit about how to make these bids. And the most important part for a hackathon, how to access these things programmatically, because I think that will be the interesting things that we can build here. So this is just some information about the bid. So let's take a look at how we actually create a bid. So the very first step in this is to go and search for a packet that we're interested in purchasing data on. So I might want to know, let's see here. Let's go to background. Okay. So we're looking at English language dominance. There's 3 questions here for this. So this is going to tell us about English language. And I'm in Spain, so this might be an interesting thing to get in Spain. So we'll run through this, and then we can put a bid out for this and see what happens. We'll see what we'll wait. We might not get a lot of people in Spain right now, but we can see actually how to place a bid through this process. So you see the big green start button. We can start it. And we're going to do a subscription bid because we want to see the data flow in real time. We don't have to wait until it closes. Continue, and let's make it for like 3 packets. And this is the number of respondents that you're going to get here. And then let's put an end date of next week. Let's make this 20 cents US. And I mentioned that we want to do it in Spain. So let's choose that.
And Danny, can you give a little context into like the power of the filters which you and your team have built here, and why it's so useful for even like reducing biasy and data sourcing as you can choose your demographics?
Yeah, definitely. I think it mostly relates to once you've sourced your initial set like this, we've got a whole range of different filters to go here. Our basic filters that are supported out of the box, you don't have to build these, are the demographic filters. So we have date of birth, sex, previously accepted. So if you've created a bid, you want to go back and target those same people, you can do that. Or if you want to exclude those same people, you can do that. The really powerful thing is the cohorts, which I can get into that a little more. I think it might be a little bit more complicated. I think it'd probably be better to get into that after we get started a little bit. But that cohort basically allows you to build any sort of filter that you want. I'm asking questions about what language people speak at home. If I were interested in people who speak Catalan at home, I could build a cohort of Catalan speakers and then go back to them and ask them new questions. So that's kind of the power of this cohort feature. So let's get rid of that filter. Apply this to Spain. Yeah, and you'll place the bid here. So you can see that I placed this bid. It's now active. And it will tell me what my service fees are. And then I can actually review this in my bids and see. And as people complete this bid, I'll see this number increase. So the total demand is 3. I've asked for 3 people to complete this in Spain, and nobody's done so yet. But as people do it, I'll be able to see that, and we'll be able to look at the actual data as it comes through. So I want to get a little bit into how to do this programmatically, because I think that's going to be the most interesting use of this. So let's take a look at the API. Our platform is driven off of a REST API. So we can actually just go in, and for our bids, we can see here, we can actually create a new bid here from the API too. We don't even have to use the application. But specifically for the type of work that we're going to do here in this hackathon, what we're going to want to do is get some data and then retrieve that data. And the way that we do that is actually through this data JSON. We can actually request the bid by ID and then pull down this data, and we'll get a CSV from this particular endpoint. This is an example of what that looks like. This will be a unique seller ID within the TARTLE system. And then this will be the actual questions as the header of the CSV, and then the data here. And there's also a JSON endpoint here too. That's data.json. And that will allow you to pull that data down in a JSON format. So that will be the most useful thing to keep querying this endpoint once you have a bid ID and be able to pull that data down real time. Take it, put it into your model, and then constantly be updating your model. Okay, I think that's all I have to cover on this particular thing here.
Okay. Did you want to go over just what the links are for them to sign up as a buyer? And then once they're in there, as you guys do sign up with a buyer, Daniel will walk you through that really quick. If you put your email addresses in the Slack channel, we will know what accounts to send the funds over to, so we can get you guys up and running quickly to start sourcing that data. We're happy to cover that cost for this event. And then after that, like Daniel said, you can programmatically go over to the API feed, documentation over there, which you can also find under Carl's instructions on the dev post. And you can start getting yourself to.
Yep. And yeah, you can see here, this will sign you up as a seller. You don't want that. You can't purchase data as a seller. Be sure to sign up as a buyer.
You put all the mechanics in there. Find source.tartle.co/buyers. Get yourself up and running. Again, just put the motion there so we know exactly what the buyer email was. So fun.
Might want to sign up as a buyer just to see what the platform looks like. As a seller, I'm sorry, from that side.
Well, yeah, they could do that, but if you sign up as a buyer and you choose to do that, you're going to have to use 2 separate email addresses. So just keep that in mind when you're going through and choosing to do so. When it comes to the actual bidding itself, there's a couple different points here because it is a marketplace. If people aren't responding immediately to the request you're having from the data, you can actually choose to increase the price of that data to see, depending on how sensitive it is or how identifying what data may be. You can increase the price of that over time to see if feedback from those groups, your bids are filling at a quicker rate. And just as a reminder, it's always smart to go in and use the subscription style bid, because as Daniel said, when people are completing it, that data is going to come in when it's actually completed. So that way the model can quickly train on it. If you are in current format, using the retrieval for the CSV file, JSON through the API, you can put some sort of cron job in there and constantly keep pulling down when those updates are in place. And so your model will actively have an evolution to it as that new data comes in. Then I know you have gone over the cohort elements briefly. Maybe later on in the day we touch on a little bit. People get going that way. We guys a little bit of a break. Would you mind just showing the we have the resource for the NOAA website. Carl, did you want to bring that up real quick?
That was just a dev post.
Yeah, I want to show everybody just where they can grab the API keys on there. NOAA only requires you to put in an email address, and then they will send you a specific text to log in with. You're going to use that and I'll give you the API access key. So Paul's going to bring that up.
So yeah, again, during the dev post, and the resources, go down here.
Well, when the US government decides to get the website running quickly, you'll be able to pull it up here. It's very easy to, again, to access datasets and get an API key, get yourself off and running. So in the meantime, we're going to let you guys go to your breakout rooms, and Carl has it up here. Thank you, Carl. So just go in, request the key access. You're going to have everything you need. Once that's done, decide on how you want to do your team, start brainstorming on what that app is going to look like, what are the requirements. Really put some thoughts into the type of data you're going to be wanting to source from data sellers at a hyper-local level, any country you choose to do so, and then see if we can start having some ingenious things come in. And if you guys have any questions, ping the development team over here in Slack, reach out to us if you need some help with the sign-up process. Matthew Smith is also here. He's our head of customer success. He can help guide you through that. And if you have any other further questions, feel free to ping us because we will be here live. But apart from that, you guys are going to be off to the races. So thank you again for coming to join the hackathon. Just remember, 34 days from now, we are judging. There's about $6,000 in prizes. We may be increasing that by another couple thousand come to the end. And we really look forward to what you guys have to create. So Dania, thank you very much for giving that early walkthrough on the API. Where people can access it. Carl, thank you for setting this up. And I thank everybody for their participation in this event.
I've got one other thing just to
Go for it.
housekeeping. Eric brought up a good point. So if you are looking for someone to work with on this project that you haven't found yet, you probably all know of the Discord server that DevPost runs. And there's a huge audience on there. And there's a channel, of course, for finding teammates for hackathons. So I would highly suggest going to that Discord server and putting the word out there, say, hey, I'm working on this cool project, and see if you get some people to work with you. But you probably all know that Discord server's out there. But if not, just Google it, Discord, DevPost.
All right, very good.
Okay.
So TARTLE Dev team, you guys are good to go. I mean, you're on the Slack feeds right now. So anyone needs anything, they can ping it in there. I'll be hanging out in this feed with Carl, but you guys, you should be all set. So thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
So let's cut the recording on there and we'll be good to go. And just throw us